Everyone talks about kids who pray. Nobody asks what happens when the prayers are real, but the heart is somewhere else. Turin, 1856. A priest named Giovanni Melchiorre Bosco runs a home for boys nobody wants. Street kids, orphans, the ones who steal bread and sleep in alleys. He teaches them trades, feeds them, prays with them every single morning. And one night, he sees something that changes how he looks at every face in that chapel. A vision, not symbolic, specific. A teenage boy he knows, 14 years old, prays the rosary daily, never misses mass, dies suddenly, and Bosco watches where that soul goes. The vision lasts hours. He writes it down the next morning. Names no names, but the details are surgical. A boy who did everything right on paper. Everything. And the vision shows Bosco exactly what was hiding underneath. What happens when your prayers are muscle memory, but your treasure is buried somewhere else? Where does that soul go? What did Bosco see? Giovanni had dreams as a kid. Vivid ones. Age 9, he dreamed of wild animals turning tame under his hands. A woman in the dream told him he would shepherd children not with blows, but with kindness and knowledge. He believed her. He studied for priesthood poor, walked miles to class. Ordained June 5th, 1841, at age 25. Assigned to Turin. The city was brutal. Industrial revolution sucking in boys from the countryside. 12-year-olds working 16-hour shifts in factories, sleeping under bridges, no family, no future. Bosco found them in the streets and brought them to a shed. That shed became the oratory of St. Francis de Sales. By 1850, he had hundreds of boys. He taught them masonry, tailoring, printing, shoemaking, gave them beds and soup and structure. But more than that, he gave them daily mass and confession and the sacraments. He believed if you saved a boy's soul, you saved his life, and he was obsessive about the state of souls. Archives in Turin, cross-referenced with the published volume Dreams and Visions of Saint John Bosco, edited by Father Joseph Aubry from 1954, which compiles Bosco's handwritten accounts with marginal notes from boys who witnessed him waking from these visions. These are not hagiographies written a century later. These are Bosco's own words, written within days of the events. Now back to the information. The boy in the vision is never named. Bosco writes only that he was 14, a resident of the oratory, known for his devotion. Every morning, rosary, every evening, prayers before bed. Never broke a major rule, never cursed, never fought. Teachers liked him, other boys respected him. But he got sick fast. Fever, weakness, collapse. Dead in 4 days, 18th of March, 1856. Bosco buried him in the oratory cemetery with the other boys who did not make it. And that night, Bosco had the vision. He opens a book. The book has 2 columns. Left side, works of light. Right side, works of darkness. The angel begins to read. Received communion 408 times. Went to confession once a month. 41 confessions total. Fasted on Fridays. Observed Lent. Helped in the kitchen. Swept floors. Carried water. Never complained. Obeyed the rules. Respected the priests. The list goes on, line after line. The angel's voice is flat. No praise, just data. Every time the boy prayed in public, he positioned himself where others could see. Front row, visible. He tracked who noticed, he counted. When a priest praised his devotion, he replayed the words in his head for hours, wrote them down in a hidden notebook, reread them at night. The notebook had 47 entries, 47 moments of praise archived and savored. He compared himself to other boys, noted who prayed less, who stumbled in Latin, who yawned during homilies. He felt superior, kept a mental tally, never said it out loud, but nursed it daily. When he worked in the print shop, he angled the type trays to catch his face. 52 times. Bosco wrote the number, 52. Small sabotages, a misplaced chisel, a tool returned to the wrong spot. A rumor whispered where it would travel. None of it loud, all of it cold. The priest gave him penance. He did the penance, then went back to the drawing, never threw it away, never told the full truth. The angel reads the dates. The boy collected gratitude, hoarded it. 118 nights, the angel counted. The angel closes the ledger. The boy's face is ash. Bosco watches. The angel speaks. The boy prayed daily, but loved the world more. He loved the image of himself praying. He loved the praise, the comfort, the edge over others. He loved the secret life more than the public one. The prayers were real, but the heart was divided. The sacraments were received, but the soil was shallow. The boy's soul is a house with a bright front door and a basement full of rot. The foundation is cracked. The structure is weak. The light never reached the depths. Pain that is not vengeance, but medicine. The boy will go to purgatory, and the angel gives Bosco a number. 18 years, 4 months, 11 days. The boy will burn for 18 years, 4 months, and 11 days before he is clean enough to stand before the throne. The boy knew pride was sin. He confessed it once, then nurtured it. He knew envy was poison. He felt it and chose it. He knew lying was wrong. He did it 71 times. The prayers did not erase the choices. The sacraments did not cover the secrets. The boy built 2 lives, one in the light, one in the shadow, and the shadow life was stronger. The angel says he prayed with his mouth, but his treasure was in himself. The heart follows the treasure. His treasure was not God, it was the self. And that self must be destroyed before the soul can enter joy. When you helped someone, did you want them to see? When you obeyed, did you feel proud? He pushes them to examine the basement. He tells them the visible life is not enough, that God sees the notebook under the mattress, the 18 minutes at the mirror, the 63 glances at the drawing, the 71 lies, the 118 nights of chosen comfort over love. He tells them purgatory is real, and it is long, and that a soul can pray every single day and still spend decades in fire because the prayers were performance and the heart was elsewhere. And then, after confession, check the heart daily. Ask, why did I just do that? Was it for God or for me? Did I pray because I love him or because I love being seen? Did I help because it was right or because it felt good to be needed? The heart is a liar. Watch it. Bosman says to them, the devil does not need to stop your prayers. He just needs to twist while you pray. And if he does that, your rosary counts for nothing. The oratory records show that after March 1856, confessions got longer. Boys stayed in the confessional for 20 minutes, 30. One boy stayed for an hour. The priests asked Bosco what he told them. He said, I showed them a ledger. The boys started writing in journals, examining their motives, catching themselves in small vanities, small greeds. They prayed differently, slower, quieter. Some stopped praying in groups and went alone to the chapel. They did not want to be seen. They wanted to mean it. Lemoyne between 1898 and 1939, drawing directly from Bosco's diaries and testimonies from oratory residents who lived through these events, alongside the critical annotations in the English translation by Diego Borgatello from 2003, which includes archival photographs of Bosco's handwritten vision accounts. These are not pious legends. These are sworn testimonies and dated manuscripts. Now back to the information. Died in a carriage accident. Bosco saw him in purgatory. The angel read the ledger. Left column, 23 years of daily mass, 4,978 communions, regular confession, generous donations, totaling 8,400 lyre over his life. Built a chapel in his village. Right column, resentment toward his wife. He smiled at her in public, criticized her in his mind. 73 specific instances recorded. He gave to the church, but wanted plaques, his name carved in stone. 3 plaques. Each one checked and admired 42 times total. He fasted but felt superior to those who did not. Cataloged their indulgences, judged them. 117 moments of judgment logged. He confessed his sins, but minimized them, made them sound accidental. 16 confessions, where he twisted the truth to sound better. The angel said the man would spend 11 years in purgatory. Resentment. These are not round numbers. They are exact. Someone is counting. And Bosco was terrified, because if someone was counting the hidden acts of a pious teenage boy, then someone was counting his. When someone calls me holy, do I deflect or do I hold it? When I help a boy, is it for the boy or for the story I will tell later? He found pride. He found it everywhere, in the way he walked into a room, in the way he paused after preaching, waiting for a reaction, in the way he corrected other priests, just a little sharper than necessary. He wrote it down, confessed it, fought it, and realized the fight never ended. The basement was always there, the rot always growing. The only difference was whether you went down with a lamp or pretended the basement did not exist. Bosco said, God is both. Mercy does not mean the books are not kept. It means we have time to balance them. And purgatory is the mercy. The alternative is worse. He told them, if you think your prayers cover your pride, you are wrong. If you think your fasts erase your envy, you are wrong. The work of the soul is not addition, it is excavation. You dig until you find the root, and if you die before the root is out, you dig in fire. The retreat records show that 12 priests left early. Could not take it. 16 priests stayed late asking Bosco more questions. 4 priests had nervous breakdowns. Stopped celebrating Mass for weeks. Had to be reassured by their bishops. One priest wrote a letter to Bosco's superior, accusing him of spiritual terrorism. The superior met with Bosco, asked him to soften the message. Bosco refused. He said, I am telling them what I saw. If it terrifies them, good. Terror is better than complacency. The superior let him continue. Who you do it for? The treasure question. Where is your treasure? If it is in yourself, your prayers are noise. If it is in your reputation, your fasts are vanity. If it is in comfort, your charity is transaction. The treasure must be in God. And the only way to know is to watch where your mind goes when no one is looking. What do you replay? What do you hoard? What do you hide? That is the treasure. And that is what the angel counts. Bosco wrote hundreds of letters to boys who left the oratory, former students, now men. He asked them, are you still watching the basement? Are you still checking your motives? Or have you slipped back into autopilot? He got letters back. Some said they were still fighting, others admitted they had stopped. They prayed but not deeply, worked but not with love, gave but kept score. Bosco wrote back, "Then you are the boy in the vision. You are doing the right things. You're not doing them rightly. Fix it before you die. Because the fire is long, and no one prays you out early. Your mother can offer masses, your friends can light candles, but the 18 years, 4 months, 11 days, do not shorten. You burn until the debt is paid, and the debt is always more than you think." After Bosco's death in 1888, the Salesians published his writings. The vision of the pious boy was included. It spread through seminaries, through convents, through lay groups. People read it and saw themselves. The daily rosary but the proud heart, the weekly confession but the secret sins, the external devotion but the internal chaos. It was a mirror, and the mirror was brutal. In 1954, the Salesians released a full compilation of Bosco's visions and dreams, edited by Father Joseph Aubry. Included marginal notes from boys who lived at the oratory. One note, written by a boy named Carlo Viglietti, who was 17 in 1856, said, "I was in the dormitory the night Father Bosco had the vision of the dead boy. He woke up shaking, sat up in bed, said out loud, 'My God, the ledger.' We asked him what he saw. He would not say that night. But the next morning at breakfast, he looked at each of us differently, like he was reading something we could not see. It changed him. He became harder on us, not cruel, but relentless. He would ask us, 'Why did you do that?' And if we gave a surface answer, he would say, 'No, why really?' We learned to hate that question. But we also learned we needed it." Another note from a boy named Michel Rua, who later became the second head of the Salesians, said, "Father Bosco told me once that the vision of the boy was the hardest vision he ever had, harder than hell. Because hell is for souls who chose darkness. Purgatory is for souls who chose light but carried too much shadow, and the shadow is often invisible to the soul itself. The boy thought he was devout. He was, and he thought that was enough. It was not. Father Bosco said, "The saddest souls in purgatory are the ones who are surprised to be there. For every Christian who thinks that routine devotion saves, it does not. Devotion saves when it is rooted in love, when the heart is wholly given, when the treasure is in heaven and not in self. But how many of us pray with divided hearts? How many of us fast with one eye on the mirror? How many of us give with one hand and keep score with the other? I do not know, but the angel knows, and the ledger is exact." The vision resurfaced during the Second Vatican Council, 1962 to 1965. Debates about liturgy and reform. Some bishops wanted to emphasize mercy and de-emphasize fear. Others wanted to keep the traditional focus on judgment and purgatory. One bishop from Brazil, Dom Helder Camara, referenced Bosco's vision in a speech. He said, "We cannot speak of mercy without speaking of truth." And the truth is that many Catholics live double lives. They attend Mass and harbor hatred. They receive communion and nurse envy. They pray the rosary and love the world. Saint John Bosco saw this in a vision. A boy who prayed every day and burned for 18 years because his prayers were empty. If we remove the language of purgatory, we remove the urgency. We tell people that surface devotion is enough. It is not. It never was. The speech was controversial. Progressive bishops said it was fear-mongering. Traditional bishops said it was essential. The debate went on for weeks. No consensus. But Bosco's vision stayed in the conversation because it was specific, not vague, not symbolic. A boy, 14, daily rosary, 18 years, 4 months, 11 days, numbers that stuck, numbers that scared. In 2003, a Salesian priest named Father Diego Borgatello published a critical edition of Bosco's visions, included historical context, cross-referenced the dates with oratory records, found the death entries for March 18, 1856. 3 boys died that month. One was 14, name redacted per Bosco's wishes, but the age matched, the date matched. Borgatello concluded the vision was likely about a real boy. A real death, a real ledger, not allegory, testimony. One retreat leader said, "Most people finish the exercise in tears. They realize they are the boy. They pray, they serve, they follow the rules. And they are building a case for purgatory because the heart is somewhere else. The treasure is buried in self, and they never checked." Students asked themselves, "Why did I do that? Was it for God? Was it for others? Or was it for me?" Teachers reported that students became more honest, less performative. They stopped raising their hands just to be seen, stopped volunteering just for recognition, started checking their hearts before acting. Some students hated it, said it made them paranoid. Others said it saved them. One student wrote, "I used to think I was good because I went to church and did not steal. Then I started checking my motives. And I realized I went to church to feel superior, and I did not steal because I was afraid of getting caught. Not because I loved God or my neighbor. I was doing the right things for the wrong reasons. The vision showed me that. And now I am starting over. Not with more prayers, with honest ones." Bosco's vision also influenced Catholic writers. Flannery O'Connor referenced it in a letter to a friend in 1960. She wrote, "People think being Catholic means following the rules. It does not. It means surrendering the self, and most people cannot do that. They follow the rules but keep the self. They pray, but the self is still on the throne. That is the boy in Bosco's vision. Rosary in hand, self on the throne. And 18 years in fire to burn the throne down." O'Connor said, "I think about that vision every time I write. Am I writing for God or for praise? Am I writing to tell the truth or to be called brilliant? The motive matters. The work might look the same, but the ledger is different. That good works do not equal a good heart. That we can be devout and divided. That God is not fooled by our prayers. He counts the seconds we spend in vanity, the moments we nurse resentment, the times we twist the truth, and he holds us accountable, not to destroy us, to purify us, but the purification is painful and long." Merton wrote, "I have spent 50 years in a monastery. I pray 7 times a day, and I still find pride, still find envy, still find the self trying to hijack the work. If I died today, I do not know if I would go straight to heaven. I suspect I would burn, maybe not 18 years, but some years, because the root is deep, and the fight is never finished. Seen too much to be confident. I know the ledger exists. I know the counts are exact, and I know my own heart. I have done good work. But I have also loved the applause. I have also hoarded the praise. I have also chosen comfort over sacrifice more times than I can count. I confess it. I fight it, but I do not defeat it. So when I die, I expect fire, and I pray it is shorter rather than longer. But I do not presume. Presumption is another sin, and that one gets counted too." The investigators did not shy away from them. They noted that Bosco believed in the reality of the ledger, that he taught it, that he lived accordingly, and that his holiness was not despite the fear of purgatory, but because of it. He was not terrified into inaction. He was terrified into examination. That examination made him relentless, against himself, against complacency, against the idea that prayers alone were enough. Today, Bosco's vision of the pious boy is still used in Salesian formation. Seminarians read it in their first year. They are asked to write a reflection. Most write some version of, "I am that boy, I pray, I study, I serve. But I also love being seen, I also track compliments, I also compare myself, I also lie to look better. And if I died today, I do not know where I would go." The vision is a gut check, and the gut check is permanent. You read it once and you cannot unread it. You see the ledger and you cannot unsee it. You realize someone is counting, and the count is never in your favor unless you fight. Wrote it down, gave the numbers, and the numbers are too specific to dismiss. 47 entries of praise, 63 glances at a drawing, 71 lies, 118 nights of chosen comfort, 18 years, 4 months, 11 days of fire. No one invents numbers like that. No one. Either Bosco saw something or he was lying, and nothing in his life suggests he was lying. Bosco never revealed it. Some historians tried to figure it out, cross-referenced oratory records, found the 3 deaths in March 1856, narrowed it to the 14-year-old. But the boy's identity was never confirmed. Bosco wanted it that way. He did not want people to focus on the boy. He wanted them to focus on the ledger, on the 2 columns, on the question, which column is longer? He wanted people to ask, "Am I that boy?" And he wanted the answer to scare them into action. Scholars analyzed the handwriting, noted the consistency, the lack of hesitation, concluded it was written quickly, in one sitting, probably within 24 hours of the vision, which supports Bosco's claim that he wrote it down immediately, while the details were fresh, before he could forget. Bosco wrote, "I have shown this account to 3 priests. All 3 said I should not share it publicly. It is too harsh. It will scare people away from the sacraments. I disagree. I think people need to be scared, not away from the sacraments, toward honesty. If this account stops one person from living a double life, it is worth it. If it makes one soul examine the basement, it is worth it. The fear of purgatory is not the enemy. The enemy is complacency, the belief that routine devotion is enough. It is not. It never was. And I will not pretend otherwise." Priests told other priests. By the time Bosco died, the vision was known across Italy. After his death, it went global, translated into dozens of languages, printed in pamphlets, included in hagiographies, and now digitized, available to anyone with internet. The boy's ledger is still being read, still being counted, still scaring people into examination. In 2018, a priest in the Philippines used the vision in a youth retreat. 200 teenagers. He read the account out loud, described the boy, the daily rosary, the hidden pride, the 63 glances, the 71 lies, the 18 years of fire. Then he asked the teens to write their own ledgers, 2 columns, public and private. The teens were silent. Some wrote for an hour. When they finished, the priest collected the papers, did not read them, burned them in a metal drum outside the chapel, told the teens, "Those ledgers are between you and God. I do not need to see them. But you do, and now that you have seen them, you have a choice. Keep living the double life, or start digging. The basement is there, the rot is real, the ledger is being kept, and the fire is long. What are you going to do? 87 teens went to confession that night. The line lasted until 2 in the morning. Priests heard confessions in shifts. The teens confessed things they had never told anyone: pride, envy, lust, lies, small cruelties, secret vanities. The sins were not dramatic. No murders, no thefts, just the daily rot. The slow accumulation of self-love disguised as devotion. And the teens were terrified, because they realized they had been living like the boy, praying with their mouths, loving themselves with their hearts, and building a case for fire. Not because I loved God, not because I wanted to be pure, because I was scared. And that is not virtue, that is fear, and fear does not save you. I started over, started asking why, started checking my heart. And I found so much pride, so much envy, so much rot. I'm still digging. But at least now I know the basement exists. Most people prefer the Jesus of mercy, the God who forgives, the saints who smile. Bosco is harder, colder. He does not promise that prayer guarantees heaven. He promises that prayer without love guarantees purgatory. And purgatory is long, and painful, and exact. His message is not comforting. It is not meant to be. Comfort is not what saves. Examination does. And examination hurts. But it is the only way to know if the heart is divided. If the treasure is buried in self, if the prayers are performance, if the ledger is tilting toward fire, how much he prayed, how little it mattered. Because the heart was elsewhere, and now the fire must burn the elsewhere away. The pride, the vanity, the envy, the lies, the comfort, the self, all of it, until only love remains. And that takes time. 18 years, 4 months, 11 days. And the boy will weep the entire time, not in anger, in regret, because he could have fixed it. He could have dug deeper. He could have checked the heart. He could have moved the treasure. He had time. He had the sacraments. He had a priest who cared. He had everything he needed, and he chose the surface, chose the visible, chose the easy, and now he pays. Which ones are nursing secret sins? Which ones think routine devotion is enough? He cannot see the ledger, but God can, and the angel can. The count is happening right now, in real time. Every moment of pride, every glance of vanity, every whispered lie, every chosen comfort over love, logged, numbered, waiting. And when the soul dies, the ledger is read, and the math is done, and the sentence is given, and the fire is long. 2 years after the vision, Bosco had another boy die at the oratory. 15 years old, sick for a week, dead on a Thursday. Bosco buried him Friday, had no vision that night, or the next. But a month later, the boy appeared in a dream, smiling, clean, radiant. Bosco asked where he had been. The boy said, "I went straight through. No purgatory." Bosco asked why. The boy said, "Because I dug. Because you taught me to check the heart. To ask why. To move the treasure. And when I prayed, I meant it. When I served, I loved. When I obeyed, I gave. Not for me. For him. And the ledger was clean. So I went through." Bosco asked if he was sure. The boy said, "The angel read the book. There was one column. The light. No shadow, no debt, no fire, just joy." Bosco woke up, cried, because he knew the difference between the boy who prayed and loved himself and the boy who prayed and loved God. The first boy burned for 18 years. The second boy went straight through. Same prayers, same sacraments, different hearts, different ledgers, different outcomes. And the difference was invisible until death, until the angel opened the book, until the count was read, thinking your prayers counted, thinking the treasure was in heaven, and die, and discover you were wrong, that the treasure was buried in yourself, that the prayers were noise, that the ledger was lopsided, that the fire was waiting. And by then it was too late to dig, too late to check, too late to move. The only option was to burn, and trust that the burning would finish, that the 18 years, 4 months, 11 days would pass, that the soul would be purified, that the love would be real by the end. But it would hurt, it would take time, and it could have been avoided. If only the basement had been checked, if only the heart had been examined, if only the treasure had been moved, while there was still time. A panel of theologians examined the vision of the pious boy, debated whether it was private revelation or imagination, concluded it was consistent with Catholic teaching. Purgatory is real. The purification is painful. The duration varies based on the state of the soul, and souls can live outwardly devout lives while inwardly divided. The panel noted that Bosco never claimed the vision was binding doctrine. He presented it as what he saw, what he believed, and what he taught. The Vatican allowed it, did not suppress it, did not endorse it as official revelation, but acknowledged it as within the bounds of orthodoxy, and useful, spiritually useful, to remind the faithful that devotion without love is empty, that routine without heart is noise, that the visible life is not the whole life, that the ledger has 2 columns, and that the second column is longer than most people think. Bosco is now the patron saint of youth, of students, of editors and publishers. He is invoked for help in education, in forming young souls, in guiding the lost. But he should also be the patron saint of self-examination, of motive checking, of digging in the basement, because that was his gift, not just teaching boys to read and work, teaching them to watch their hearts, to ask why, to catch the pride, the envy, the lies, to move the treasure, to make the prayers real, to ensure the ledger was clean before death, before the angel opened the book, before the fire. Assuming Bosco saw what he said he saw, the boy is now in heaven, purified, clean, joy. But it took 18 years. 18 years of weeping, 18 years of fire, 18 years of pain, all because he prayed with his mouth and loved himself with his heart, all because the treasure was buried in the wrong place, all because he never checked, never dug, never moved it, until it was too late, until the only option was fire, long fire, exact fire, purifying fire, but fire nonetheless, and avoidable, entirely avoidable if only he had known, if only he had been told, if only someone had shown him the ledger while there was still time. Honestly, deeply, with the whole heart, not just the mouth, not just the hands, the heart, where the treasure is, where the count is happening, where the angel is watching, where the book is being written, 1 column or 2, light or shadow, love or self, heaven or fire. The choice is made daily, in small moments. 18 minutes at the mirror, 63 glances at a drawing, 71 lies, 118 nights of chosen comfort. The moments add up. The ledger grows, and the math is done. When the soul dies, when the angel reads, when the sentence is given, and the soul walks through the threshold, into light or into fire, for a day, for a year, for 18 years, 4 months, 11 days, or straight through, clean, free, joy. The difference is the heart, and the heart is a choice, made now, while there is time, before the ledger closes, before the angel reads, before the fire. He would look at us and say, I have seen the ledger. I know what is counted, and you do not. So I am going to ask you questions, and you're going to answer honestly, or you are going to burn. He was not joking. He meant it, and we knew he meant it. So we answered, and we confessed, and we changed. Not because we wanted to, because we were scared. But the fear was good. It saved us. I'm 83 years old now. I have lived a long life. I have sinned, but I have also checked. Every day. I ask why. I watch the heart. I move the treasure, and when I die, I hope the ledger is clean, or at least cleaner, because I do not want to burn for 18 years. I do not want to weep in fire. I want to go through, and I think I will, because Father Bosco showed me how. He showed me the basement, and I have been digging ever since. He is crying. Not sad crying, grateful crying, because Bosco scared him. At age 14, showed him the ledger, made him dig, and now, 69 years later, he is still digging, still checking, still moving the treasure, and the ledger is cleaner. Not perfect, but cleaner. And when he dies, he believes he will go through, not because he is sinless, because he is honest, because the treasure is in the right place, because the heart is undivided, because the prayers are real, and the angel will read the book, and the math will be done, and the sentence will be short, or none, and the soul will walk through the threshold, into light, into joy, into heaven, because the basement was checked, the rot was cleared, the treasure was moved while there was time. Fear that changes, fear that purifies, before the fire has to, because the fire will. If the heart is divided, if the treasure is buried in self, if the prayers are performance, the fire will burn it away. 18 years, 4 months, 11 days, or longer or shorter, depending on the ledger, depending on the count, depending on the heart. And the heart is a choice, made now, in every small moment, in every prayer, in every act, in every motive. The choice is being counted, the ledger is being written, the angel is watching, and the book will be read. When the soul dies, when the threshold appears, when the light and the darkness separate, and the soul walks into one or the other, for a time or forever, depending on the treasure, where it is, where it was, where it should have been, and whether the soul moved it before it was too late, before the ledger closed, before the count was done, before the angel read, before the fire.